Welcome back. Right now, the Pew Research Center says divorce rates are on the decline, with one exception, gray divorce. For what that means and what's behind this trend, we turn things on over to Danita Harris in Studio B. Hey, Danita.
Hi, Brissa. Yes, gray divorce. What is it? Well, it is a term used to describe divorced people between ages 50 and older. And this morning, we want to go beyond the numbers. We're going to dig into this. And I'm so glad that I have Dr. Kia-Rai Prewitt, a psychologist with the Cleveland Clinic, here to talk to us about this. Because when I didn't hear about this about a month or so ago, so I'm watching YouTube and Oprah pops up and she's doing this whole thing on it. So tell us a little bit more about gray divorce, what it really means.
Yes, so gray divorce really just refers to people that are getting divorced at 50 and over. So a lot of people don't think of folks getting divorced that late stage, but it's actually occurring more frequently than people expect.
Why is that happening now?
So for a lot of folks, it's more acceptable now to get divorced. Also, depending on how old you were when you were married, this might be your second or third marriage at this time, and the more times you get married, the more higher risk you are of actually getting divorced.
Wow.
But also people's quality of life has changed. Women's positions have changed. They're more financially independent, and so it's also more socially acceptable to get divorced.
Yeah, because women, you know, the research says that more women are initiating these divorces over 50. What is happening with women that you're hearing that they're like, you know what, I'm not going to stand this forever?
For sure. So actually women are more likely to initiate divorce anyway, but I think because we're seeing such high rates of divorce, especially for those 65 and up, I just think, again, women are living longer lives, so the life expectation is a lot longer. So you may have another 15, 20 years that you're here, especially if you're 65 and older, and they're thinking, well, I don't have to be unhappy. I don't have to stay in this situation. Also, you know, you might be an empty nester, and so that's the time when couples learn they might not have as much in common anymore.
So don't we hear that all the time? The kids are gone, and then they look at each other as like, I don't know you anymore. Is that also something with, you know, the way the relationship has evolved and there's not much in common?
For sure. People can grow apart. So I see couples, and so one of the things I emphasize, when you have younger kids, it's a lot harder to stay connected. You're so focused on running the kids around, you're trying to work. As you get older and the kids are leaving, it's really important to refocus back on the relationship. And so sometimes couples therapy might be something that could be helpful for couples to reconnect, but sometimes they really have grown so far apart that the emotional connection is not there. They don't have the same interest anymore, and so they may choose to leave the relationship.
Talk a little bit more about the first thing you said. It's acceptable. So like, you know, divorce is no longer just the taboo thing that it used to be, right?
For sure. Yeah, so actually there was an increase in divorce in the 60s and 70s, and so it became more acceptable then. It was like on the rise up until the 80s, and then the divorce numbers have actually been decreasing, but I think that's because people are waiting longer, they're more mature, they're more financially stable. But again, you know, because it's more acceptable, people are choosing themselves and their own happiness and well-being over just staying in a relationship that's just not healthy for them anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's an important decision that everyone needs to make. And I don't mind sharing this with you.
Okay.
I think when in marriage vows, till death do us part, I don't think death is when I'm 6 feet under. I believe that when it's the death of your identity, the death of your purpose, the death of your, you know, your hope, when the marriage is causing that death, personal death, then you must part. You know, and I think I got to think the pandemic in some way, I think that shifted people with how they think about their lives.
It did, especially for so many people that were working remotely from home. So you had a lot of couples that were like stuck in the house together. And so if your relationship was already suffering, you know, when you worked outside of the home, you could get away, right? But when you're stuck inside of the home, you're stuck dealing with the issues. And if you don't know how to work through conflict, I think it just increased the unhappiness for a lot of people.
Being over 65 and getting a divorce, let's say they've been married 40 years. That still sounds strange to me. What would make a woman or man want to leave at that point?
Yeah. So when I'm talking to people who are considering this, a lot of times they've already were unhappy. And so some people stay because they don't have the financial means to leave. For some people, it's the commitment. They still feel that shame or stigma, even though it is more acceptable. I think when they know people who are around their age who have gone through it, it might make it a little bit easier for them to feel like, okay, I can do this too. But But yeah, it could be a lot of different reasons.
Some of it was already there about 10, 15 years ago.
Yes.
And then the kids left the house and they said, okay, bam, here it is.
I'm going to.
I'm going to. I'm going to.
Yep.
This is such an interesting thing, Gray divorce. Lots of things are written about it, but I just want to take a deeper dive into the mindset. And I thank you, Dr. Prewitt, for being here to give us that mindset because times are changing.
Yes, they are.
Changing times. Changing times. Thank you so much.
Thank
well,
you.
Brissa, there you go. The gray divorce, and here it is. People over 50, it's double. People over 65, triple the divorce rate right now. So this is something that is definitely happening. People wanting to be happy.
Yeah, times are changing.
Times are changing.
Thank you, Danita.